So delay. All right, good evening to you, my viewers. I want to welcome you to another Wesfed Spotlight. The Westmoreland Youth Federation continue to use these platforms to highlight outstanding stories. And this week, we are delighted and happy to have with me Pastor Jermaine Bailey. And I can tell you that he is the youth director for the West Jamaica Conference. And just before I invite Pastor Bailey to talk to us, Pastor Bailey, born in the inner city of Arnett Garden in the parish of Kingston, Jamaica. He was baptized at the Trenchtown Seventh-day Adventist Church. I said, well, Trenchtown Seventh-day Adventist Church, where he currently holds membership. His spiritual growth and commitment enable him to serve his home church and community with distinction. His increased love for the word and humanity would see him off to be trained as an evangelist in the inner city community. Pastor Bailey education journey start at the Trenchtown Basic School. And as he continued to move, he went to Trenchtown Primary School. And his next step in the education ladder, he moved to Charlie Simmet Comprehensive High School. And the next is history. We are indeed pleased and happy to have you, Pastor Jermaine Bailey. Welcome, Pastor Bailey, to our Wesfed Spotlight.
Thank you very much, Sir President Chamber, Sir Williams. It's my delight and pleasure when I say welcome to the viewers. Thank you for having me, sir.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us in the spotlight. So just before we go into this very lively and interactive interview, we're going to begin with prayer at this time. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this grand opportunity again, that we can able to share outstanding stories of persons who would have gone through their different challenges, but they are able to share and to help to inspire others. Be with Pastor Bailey and be with our viewers and help that the message that will be shared this evening will bring conviction and will bring hope to those who are viewing. I pray for Christ's sake. Amen. I'm sure, Pastor Bailey, that persons from the inner city, Trenchtown and Onyx Gardens, they're watching you, and persons from your home, we're living in Hanover at this time, and persons all over, they're excited and they're just waiting to hear from you, Pastor Bailey. Now, I'm going to take you back, Pastor Bailey, to Trenchtown in your childhood years. Talk to us about Trenchtown, Pastor.
Well, again, I must say I've got my sisters, brothers who are online watching, and quite a few persons from even my own church will be watching this program live as well. Well, there's a marked distinction between Trenchtown and Onyx Gardens. There's a bordering line, right? And those who have been in the community would have known there's a thing they call Onyx Gardens, which is jungle, concrete jungle, and Trenchtown would have been. So you have to understand the geographic setting of such, because Trenchtown School is opposite beside Charlie Smith, but then it's a section that leads to. But when we talk about Trenchtown Rock, Onyx Gardens, concrete jungle, we're talking about neighboring communities, so they are not so far. Well, the truth is, it's a bittersweet place. It's a nice place to be. It's a nice place to live. It is. So Trenchtown, where I originally from, is some Onyx Gardens, right there in the heart of the neighboring cities of Trenchtown, Angola, Texas, Brooklyn, Havana, Rima, Tivoli Gardens, name all of those areas, but they are right within that segment.
So you talk about neighboring communities, and persons who are watching, they're thinking, Pastor Bailey, that boy, get up. When you hear people talk about Onyx Garden, they're talking about a war-some community, a community that is full of violence. Talk to us about Onyx Garden.
All right, two things that we need to know, and it is somewhere that is still near and dear to my heart, right? It is somewhere, it's near and dear to my heart. We need to understand Onyx Gardens. We talk about concrete jungle, ghetto. I like to use those because it sends home a message more clearer than to others. Well, it consists, as I've said before, of a bittersweet experience. The safest place to live when things are right is in jungle. You don't have to worry about thief. You don't have to worry about persons who want to come and demolish or destroy or take a, you're safe, right? When it becomes bad is when we have internal conflict. As I would have highlighted that there are neighboring communities nearby, right? And so when we start having frictions with the neighboring communities, that's when it becomes extremely bad, right? And so I would have experienced both the nice part of it and the bitter part of it. I would have experienced the sour part as well as the sweet part. What would have been sort of the sweet part? Okay, the sweet part is that jungle is a 24 hours round the clock thing. It's a lively, exciting community. That's why you can understand where Pastor Bailey is always happy, exuberant, and that's the community. It's an upbeat community. It's not, there's no dead moment. In fact, if you go there now, even though it's a no movement there, you'll be surprised to see the amount of people on the road. You'll be surprised to see the amount of activities happening. You'll be surprised to see the amount of excitement going on, buzzing in the community. So it is always like that. When it becomes bad, and these are the days when it's really bad, when we have internal conflicts. Internal conflicts stems from several things. It doesn't take much to have internal conflict. And at the same time, these internal conflicts becomes extremely bad. Case in point, when it's extremely nice, You can, well, up till now, you can sleep with the door open, you can leave your 2 doors open, your windows open, no grill, no caging, no nothing at all. And you can come all the way to Montego Bay, and guess what happened? You go back home next week, Thursday, and everything is still safe. That's the good part about it, right?
Yeah.
But then there
Yeah.
are times when
Yeah.
situations like, okay, when I have internal conflict. I remember the days when we had to go to bed. My mom, when she was alive, we had to go to bed, bathe, ensuring that we put on decent clothes, because anytime now we can have some serious war. And when the war starts, you have to be moving from one location to another. So, bam, 2 o'clock in the night, things happening. You have to grab your little sister, I have to grab my little sister, run to the other neighboring community. We have to do like this. And then there are days when there are barrage of shots. I mean, nights, 24 hours. It's unstoppable. It's going on and on and on. Sometimes you can't stand up in the house. You can't sit down in the house. You have to be flat on your belly. I mean, I remember the days when gunshots was sailed through my house, through the window. Pew, you hear it. Man, I remember that day when I was on my bed and one of the gunshots fired. When the shot fired, it hit the dresser and it broke the glass. Man, it was a shocker. And so I had to move off the bed to get lower. And understanding again the community, it's a 2-story thing, right? You have downstairs, upstairs, right? So the upstairs is normally the bedroom, downstairs is the living room. And so I was upstairs. So those are some of the bittersweet experience when there are days when,
Yeah.
man, you can't
Yeah.
sleep, you have instant diarrhea. Because as soon as these things start, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm seeking coverage.
Yeah. So you're saying there was bittersweet experience in the
Bittersweet experience.
community of Honest Gardens,
Definitely.
and you shared with us, Pastor Bailey, that you would have experienced gunshot and other violent crimes in
Oh,
that community. But talk to us though about your upbringing in terms of your parents, the type of parents that you had. I learned that your mother is now deceased. But talk to us
correct.
about your upbringing.
All right. Quite an interesting story. To be honest, a God-fearing mother, um, a father who it's a little bit painful when I say that, because ever since the death of our mother, um, the truth is now have to grapple with the understanding of appreciating and accepting our father, right? Or that my dad is still alive. He's in Canada, and probably I am sure he's probably watching this program as well, because others would have connected him to such. Yes, but we grew up in an area. My mom was always excited. I like to say it, and for my members, past members, I would like to say it, that I'm from a family, a football team and reserve. 11 person play on the football bench, field, sorry. 11 person play on the football field, and some sit on the bench. You know, I am a footballer. I could say then a
Yeah.
professional footballer. And so you understand, you want to be a part of the top 11. You don't want to be a part of the benches because you tend to carry orange and so forth. But then my mom was a proud parent. When I say proud, she wanted the best for us. She wanted us to
Yes.
achieve the best. She always reminded us of some little things that were bullet points to us. Listen to me, you don't have to go to play with anybody else, because guess what happened? You have enough brothers and sisters to play with, right? You don't have to go outside. We have enough. I mean, a lot of us inside, so we can play in. So my mom took the reserve, and I said, I mean, deeply reserved approach to us, right? If we had a fight outside, my mom would always give us the wrong, even if we were not at fault. Why? Because we were outside. If you come in the yard and had a fight with us, guess what happened? She herself would give us wrong. Why? Because we're not in the house. If you come in the house
Yeah.
and had a fight with us,
Yeah.
she give us wrong. Why? Because we should have been upstairs. And if
Yeah.
we are upstairs and you had a fight with
Yeah.
us, and she'll give us wrong because we were not in the bathroom. if we were in the bathroom and you join us in the bathroom and had a fight with us in the bathroom, she give us wrong because we should have been in the bedroom. That was my mother. And so when we are cornered like a rat, my mom would say, okay, then if you tried everything and they still come at you, then you have all right to discipline that person because you tried everything. So she was a Christian person. My father, the same, he wants the best for us, right? He wanted the best for us. And so as a result of that, they instill in us some basic principle. Stay out of trouble, stay out of friends, stay out of war, don't follow bad company. Those are religious doctrines being communicated to us. And one key important, they always say, see I'm blind, hear and deaf. So not everything you see, you must see, right?
Yeah. So it is safe to say, Pastor Bailey, that you grew up, of course, in the ghettos of Ardent Garden, but because of your parents, especially your mother, that instilled godly discipline, why you would have not end up in violent crime in those communities. So we are just saying to our viewers that parenting is very critical in developing your children or your child. So we want to big up those persons in Annette Garden. And of course, if your father is still alive, we want to shout him out shout him up at this time. And now, Pastor, now Pastor Bailey, I'm sure that by now young persons are joining us and they're listening to you and they're saying that, wow, what a story, Pastor Bailey, that you're sharing. You grew up in the ghetto and now you moved right up to the journey. Move right to the journey. You went to high school and you went to NCU and now you become a pastor. Now, before we reach your Pastor Bailey, I want you to share with us. Did you at any instant growing up in the ghetto have ever influenced to gone into crime?
Well, the truth is, one of the things that people need to understand, being a gunman or a criminal are trying to be a part of bad companies, there's always a marketing strategy, right? It's a marketing skills. There's always persons who want people to be around them. Yeah. Have gotten invitations. Yeah, we have gotten invitations in terms of, okay, being a part of, right? The influence at times will become strong. Bear in mind that we were poor, very poor. And to us, to me, and let me speak definitively about myself, right? My other brothers can tell you. The good thing about it, out of all the brothers that I would have, they are the ones I would have taken a different path than they would have. And so yes, at times it was a lucrative business to become a part of the cliques or the gang. It becomes really attractive and appealing. But then for me, one of the things that kept me during that time was simply this. In looking back, retrospective and introspective look, in looking back at all these persons who I would come and see, would have known to be these dons, at one point in time or the other, they were slain by the gun. Yeah, they were slain. And I'm saying to myself, why should I then want to be like them? There must be something else different and something else better than all of that. So yes, I've got it. There are guys who would have attended high school with. There are guys who I would have attended primary school with. They too got involved, and at times we play football together. At times, let's hang out, let's do this, let's do that. Because as I've said before, it's an attractive thing. And the thing is, it is so smart because what happened, the gangster thing then is not like somebody in the air who becomes a bad man. all the happenings would be on the outside, not in the community of Arnett Gardens. So in other words, the group would leave from Arnett Gardens to go to Arthur Tree, to go to New Kingston, to go to Crossroad, to go to Beverly Hills, to go to which, name them. That's what they would do. So they go. But while you're traveling with them, all of a sudden you start seeing they go to places, start taking out things out of their bags. You're like wondering, oh, this is not what I bargained for. Oh, all right, I'm not going to be a part. So yes, at times it would have, I would have gotten the invitation to join them, to be a part of it. But then that was not my taste, was never my likings.
Yeah. So if you're just joining us, viewers, we're speaking to Pastor Jermaine Bailey, the now youth director of the West Jamaica Conference. You would have heard he shared his story from the community of Arnett Gardens. And now we want you to stay with us, because we can't end this interview with part one, Pastor Bailey. So we want to invite you to join us next week, because you're going to hear part two of his story. We're going to stay right now at Arnett Garden. So Pastor Bailey, would you mind share with us any successes in the ghetto while you grew up in that community? Any successes that you would have want to share with us?
Yes, there are quite a few. Let me say this. A matter of fact, I pause to even acknowledge. I'm sure probably he might be online as well. Pastor, just graduated from NCU, Pastor Selvin Stewart would have served. This morning I was having a conversation with him based on some things. The truth of the matter is, I would say one of the greatest success in my life and the turning point in my life when I became a Seventh-day Adventist, when I became a member of the Trenchtown Seventh-day Adventist Church. That in of itself was a university. Trust me, it's a university for hard life, for people who struggle, people who knows the ins and the outs of rough life. And so that was one of the greatest, my biggest success when I became a Seventh-day Adventist. And by the way, the truth is, my journey started with many mishaps, many struggles, many trials. Number one, I never had no intention of becoming a Seventh-day Adventist. In fact, I never liked Adventists. I never liked Adventists. The reality of it, Sir Damien, is that first my mother sent me to my mother. Out of all of us, I was the most religious person in the family. Religious. My brothers and sisters can attest to that, and I'm sure they put that in the chat. I was the most religious person. I would pull them together as a young boy and start preaching to them. Yeah. And by the way, you'll hear, when I said I want to become a pastor, knowing the family that I'm from, my mother used to buy chicken and rear them. And so she built a coop. And so the chicken that she will normally kill and, prepare for dinner, they weigh 13, 14, 15, 16 pounds. Yeah, because, the mass of us. But then I struggled with meat eating from then. As a result of that, I used to baptize the chicken. So when the chicken were placed inside the refrigerator, I would put out tar in water. I would be in the kitchen, a young little boy. Oh, my dear chicken, I baptize you in the name of Jesus. Bam, when I put the chicken in water, my mom would cuss, right? And so, my mom would always say, what a boy, I get mad. Pardon for those who don't understand the Jamaican dialect. And so my mom used to be upset. So my greatest success, one of them would have been becoming a member of the Trenchtown Church. That is my biggest success. But I was saying, at first, my mom sent us off to St. Anne's Bay in Limal, to stay with her grandmother. And then my brother and I, we were the only two who were sent. I believe then that my mom never liked me. That was my view. Yeah, I was the one who was never liked. But then I wonder, why is that she sent both of us? But it started there. My grandmother was from a religious revival background. And so every Sunday, church, man, some special nights, and we're coming back 12 o'clock, revivalist service, 12 o'clock. And so, I contemplated, remember, 12 o'clock in the night, revivalists, they keep long services. And so I enjoyed it, And then I said, okay, contemplating about becoming a Seventh-day Adventist. No, sorry, becoming a revivalist member, baptized as a revivalist. I stayed there until 1 week. My mom had a dream, said that something was wrong with me. So she decided to left jungle, Arnett Gardens, to travel all the way to St. Anne's Bay, where my grandmother lived. And she said, listen, hey, I'm coming for you. She came for me. Mom, that never materialized. So I never became a member of the Revivalist Church. Back now in jungle, I started going to the Church of God, started going to the Pentecostal church. So as I said, the most religious out of all of them. And so I started going. Our guidance counselor at Charlie Smith, he was a Reverend Maddox. And so I used to attend his church. Man, this was an amazing thing that happened to me. I'm going to tell you how I became a Seventh-day Adventist. It wasn't the preaching, wasn't the teaching, because I never liked Seventh-day Adventists. Yeah, I don't want to be a member of the Seventh-day Adventist church. But I was reading the Bible, Leviticus chapter 11. And while I was reading the Bible, Leviticus, I bumped into the idea of pork eating. So, pork and whatever should not be eaten because divide the world and doesn't through the court and so forth. Then I went to church. Reverend Maddox started preaching. Man, the nicest thing to eat was pork. So that was a turnoff. I stopped going to church. This was the most amazing and alarming thing. What brought me to the Seventh-day Adventist Church? There was this lady of an unsound mind, mad. Clothes was clean, but she didn't live anywhere. And all she will do, let me tell you the geographic location. We have 6th Street, 7th Street, 8th Street, 9th Street, 10th Street, 11th Street, go all the way. So where I live in Arnett Gardens, that's 7th Street on Spanish Town Road. There's this gully that you will see, this trench that you see. So you walk straight up. That's what we call Collie Smith Drive. She would walk that road every day saying one thing. Mad in her unsound mind. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor man servant, nor thy maid servant, nor thy captain, nor thy stranger that is within thy gate. For in 6 days, that was what the lady said. And she said all right throughout. But this is the catching part. I know we have to cut, but this is the catching part of it. I stopped going to church, Pentecostal, 7-day, never Pentecostal, Church of God revival. Stop going to church. One night, I was the type, my brothers again will tell you, I am the one who goes to bed early. And by the way, we live in a 2-bedroom apartment. My mom and my dad occupy one area. Yeah, husband and wife occupy one area. And so the 14 of us plus would be in the other room. So, I know what it is like to sleep with my sister. Yeah. I know what it is like when they don't sleep so good, and they sleep bad. I know what it is like. So we have a Karachi fight at night. But then I was the one who go to bed early. So I go to bed early. So by the time I go to bed, my other brothers and sisters, when I wake up, that's the time they are going to bed. So I would come downstairs. And while I would come downstairs, I would take my time, read. I love to read then. And this was the amazing thing that caught me. A voice. Shot was out. They were barking like dog, barking like midnight. It was a night when the guy decided to have the war. So shots was there. So I was afraid, but at the same time, above the bulb, I heard a voice call my name. Hello? A voice, amen, a voice called my name. A bright light came over the bulb. Trust me, I can tell you up to today, there are 13 steps. Yeah? You take stairs to go upstairs, steps to go upstairs. And when the voice called my name, I not even light, I take 2 steps and reach inside the bed. Betwixt my sister, the sheet over my head. Oh, hallelujah. So that's where it started. That's how it started. I became a member of the Seventh Adventist Church. That bits more to it because there's this guy by the name of
this story, Pastor Bailey, I can tell you, it is getting exciting. You share with us, Pastor Bailey, that you didn't like Adventists at all. You grew up in 2-bedroom house, mother and father in one, 14 of you in the other room.
14
Wow,
plus.
Pastor Bailey, I can tell you that we have to 14 plus. I can tell you that we have to ensure that you come back here on the Wesfed Spotlight next week, Sunday evening, 5 p.m. We're inviting all our viewers who are online that you can't afford to miss part 2, because we're going to take him to Charles Simmet High School, and after which we're going to take him to NCU. We're going to hear the success story of the Lord transform him from the ghettos of Arnett Garden and brought him through the educational ladder. And here he is today serving as the youth director for the West Jamaica Conference with responsibility for 4 parishes. I did not say 2 parishes, 4 parishes. So just stay tuned with us and join us next week, Sunday, 5 p.m. Pastor Bailey, thank you so much. And I want you to just store up all the information, because I want to hear some more from you next week, Pastor. Thank you so much for taking the time out. And I don't know if you want to say a final word to our viewers before we say ta-ta from the Wesfed Spotlight. Pastor Bailey, well, final word.
I'm hoping that my sisters, my family, extended family would have joined. The truth is, I must say, it is this means a whole lot to me. And every time I say it, it brings tears to my eyes. Why? Because I'm just watching the Lord working in me and through me. And I can declare that it is nothing to brag nor boast about. Paul says, not that I have already achieved nor attained, but that which I do, forgetting and reaching. And that is basically what it is. Just to encourage somebody that you can be in the gutter, but God can climb down in the gutter to put you on the uttermost. Just to tell someone that you might be from the worst, you might be victimized and be written off by someone or somebody, but God doesn't write you off. Just to tell somebody that, guess what? God likes to work with vessels that are broken and messed up, and God works at a level all by himself. Just to tell someone that, guess what happened? I have done it, you too can do it, right? I depended on God, and you too can do so. Just to let someone know that God is still working miracles today in people's life. That's just basically it.
Thank you again, Pastor Bailey. And the story is not ended as yet. My viewers, join us next week for part 2 of this lively interview, as Pastor Bailey will continue to share his story. This is where we say goodbye from the Wesfed Spotlight.